Merab Dvalishvili ponders moving to the UFC Flyweight division after beating Jose Aldo at UFC 277. Now, what did I just read? What did I just read, guys? We have Merab Dvalishvili, the number 6 UFC bantamweight in the world, fighting Jose Aldo at UFC 277 in a fight he can arguably win. I don't think he will. I think Jose Aldo wins that fight by a close decision. I think Merab will win one round, but he'll lose the fight. But again, if Merab wins, that'll put him securely in line for a title shot. Because I think Aljamain Sterling beats TJ Dillashaw. Aljo's already beat Corey Sandhagen. He's already beat Petr Yan. And at that point, if he beats TJ, he would have already beaten TJ Dillashaw. And if Merab beats Jose Aldo, that puts him in line for a title shot with Aljamain Sterling. But again, as many of you guys know, Merab and Aljamain Sterling are training partners. Bum, bum, bum. They're training partners, so again, it makes sense, I guess, but why, Merab? Why, Merab? I mean, one win. Jose Aldo, you're one fight away from a title shot in this bantamweight division. One more fight. You beat Jose Aldo, you get a title shot. You beat Jose Aldo, you get a damn title shot. So I guess Merab kind of has to hope that Aljamain Sterling loses against TJ Dillashaw. I mean, that makes perfect sense. If Aljamain Sterling loses against TJ, I don't know, maybe TJ Dillashaw goes out there, knocks out Aljamain Sterling, whatever the case may be. Merab beats Jose Aldo, boom. You got a big money fight there. You have Merab Dvalishvili, training partner of a guy TJ Dillashaw just beats for the UFC bantamweight belts. Imagine how much money that's going to make in this bantamweight division. A guy that is a training partner of a guy you just beat for the bantamweight belt. Now, that's the only scenario where Merab is not going to do what he's saying right here and move to flyweight, is if Aljo loses and he wins against Jose Aldo. But man, guys, Merab, you can't just move to a different division because you have a training partner and friends as a champion. You just got to fight, man. You just got to fight. I don't care if I had a brother and he was UFC flyweight champion, I'm the number 1 contender, and I just won the interim belt or whatever the case may be. I don't care, bro. I'm fighting my brother. I'm making bank in that fight. And win or lose, we're still brothers. We'll shake hands after the fight, and all things will be good. Maybe I don't know if that's going to be that dynamic with you and Aljamain Sterling, but you can't move to flyweight, man. You can't move to flyweight. If you beat Jose Aldo, you got to take the damn title shot. That'll put you right in line to fight for the bantamweight belt. And again, the only way you're going to get a title shot now is if you beat Jose and your brother, Aljamain Sterling, loses. So again, Merab, just fight Aljo. That's my suggestion. Just fight Aljamain Sterling, because I don't know how well you're going to make a weight cut to the UFC flyweight division. You're a pretty big bantamweight already. How are you going to cut down to the flyweight division? Now, do I think you can become the flyweight champion? Yeah. Yeah, you could. You definitely have the skills to do so. You can go out there and out-wrestle Figueiredo, Moreno, France, Askar. I mean, if you can make the flyweight division limit, yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea to move down to flyweight. But if you're already in talks to get a damn title shot in the bantamweight division, do not move to flyweight. If you beat Jose and the UFC is offering you a title shot with Aljo, don't move to flyweight, man. I know you and Aljo are friends and things like that, but if you're offered a damn UFC title shot, you gotta take the title shot. But what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think Merab versus Aljamain Sterling happens in 2023? Do you think maybe TJ Dillashaw beats Aljamain Sterling and we get a little grudge match with Merab Dvalishvili and TJ Dillashaw? Do you think Aljo wins and Merab wins and then Merab moves down to flyweight? What do you guys think happens? Put your thoughts down below in the comment section for this flyweight division. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury official for August 6th. And we got Serrano meeting Caraballo in boxing over there. We have Jake Paul. Okay, people. He grew a set overnight, talking about the balls. It's official. I'm taking this little Fury's head off. Amanda Serrano and I dual main events at the Mecca of boxing. Official press conference and tickets on sale this Wednesday, June 29th at 11 a.m. Hashtag Paul Fury. That's a good fight. I mean, is not really the most high-class boxing fight that you're ever going to see. Because, again, I really don't see Tommy Fury as being a legit enough boxer. I mean, he has a record, obviously. He has wins as a boxer. He's undefeated as a boxer, of course, but he's not really a legit boxer. And it's, again, Jake Paul just keeps on fighting more and more and more non-boxers. I mean, you guys can say it all you want, but come on. Ali Isongib, Nate Robinson, Ben Askren, Woodley twice. None of those guys have been boxers. They're all MMA guys that moved over to boxing, lost. They're all wrestlers that went over to boxing, lost. There's basketball players that went over to boxing, lost. None of these guys are legit boxers. None of them have any experience in boxing. This is the closest thing you're going to get. Tommy Fury, 8-0 boxer. But again, guys, the dude is fighting who? A 10-2 Daniel Bukianzowski, however you say the name. A guy that just lost to 2-0-0 guys right there. I mean, that's one guy Tommy Fury is beating. Just a random no-name guy that they're trying to get him an easy win with. Anthony Taylor, a 2-3 guy right there. I mean, anyone out there is saying, oh my God, Jake Paul is finally getting a real fight with a real boxer. What are you guys talking about, guys? What are you guys talking about? The only guys that he's fighting are just random no-name boxers, super, super low level on the main card of a lot of the Fury cards. I mean, look at this. A 0-20 fight for Tommy Fury right there. Like, I'm not even joking with half of these. His first ever boxing match was against a 111-3 fighter. Like, come on. Anyone out there saying that this is a legit step up for Jake Paul is lying. 0-32-2 for Tommy Fury right there. After that, 2-36. 0-35. Scott Williams, 0-20. The dude's first 6 wins were against nobodies. Then he fights freaking Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor, who was just not really that good. I'm just going to be honest with you. He was not that good. And then he beats who? Daniel Bukinziski, however you say the name, who's 0-2 in his last 2 fights as well. Anyone out there saying that this is a legit test for Jake Paul, like this is a tough task, he's finally going against a real boxer who has an 8-0 boxing record, anyone out there saying that is kind of stupid. It's kind of dumb, guys. This is not a real boxer. He might have the last name Fury. He might be related to the greatest heavyweight in the world right now in Tyson Fury, for sure. But Tommy Fury is no real boxer. He's 8-0, yeah. 6 of his wins are against guys with like no wins and like 50 losses. Again, this is not a real boxing fight, guys. It's another exhibition against a guy with a good name, like a Tyron Woodley, like a Ben Askren, that has a good name that Jake Paul is just getting another setup fight for. It's just another setup fight with another guy with a good name for Jake Paul to beat yet again, who has, oh my God, an 8-0 undefeated record against bums. Again, do I need to go through his record again? They all have losing records, except for the last 2 guys that are both on losing streaks right now. Again, like the boxing, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, are trying to build this fight up like, oh my God, Jake Paul is finally going against an actual boxer. Tommy Fury is not an actual boxer. So I'm going to say it right now, I'm going Jake Paul to win the fight by decision. I think it'll be a good fight. I mean, it'll be a decent fight, whatever. But again, anyone out there saying that this is a real boxing fight, there's real things happening here. Jake Paul is finally testing himself against a legit boxer. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, do you think a guy that's beating 0-35 guys, the guys with those records, do you think that guy is a real boxer? Yeah, he might have professional boxing wins, but those wins are so padded. So are Jake Paul's, to be honest with you, but still. I don't know. We shall see. In the UFC's heavyweight division, I'm just kidding. Kevin Holland pleads with Dana White for a Nate Diaz fight. Let's see. Let me look at the chances of Kevin Holland getting a fight with Nate Diaz right now. So we have 5%, we have 4%. Nah, that's too much. We'll go freaking 0%. Kevin Holland, you're not getting a fight with Nate Diaz. What are you doing? I understand you want to make some money. I understand you want to put your names in the headline, whatever the case may be. You're trying to make some money here, guys. But again, the chances of you fighting Nate freaking Diaz right now is like zero, man. There's zero chance the UFC is going to do that. There's zero chance Nate Diaz is going to do that. There's zero chance McGregor's going to let that happen. Dustin Poirier is going to let that happen. I mean, what are you doing, man? Kevin Holland calling out Nate Diaz? Yeah, again, it's going to put your name in the headlines. I'll take on anyone. He'll take on anyone. At Nate Diaz, at Dana White, I think this moves the needle. Let's do this for everyone. I want all the smoke, both inside and outside of the cage. Okay, cool. Cool call out from Kevin Holland right there. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get a damn fight with Nate Diaz right now. There's like a 0.001% chance you're getting a freaking Nate Diaz fight. It's not going to freaking happen. Come on, Nate Diaz, Kevin Holland. I can think of so many better fights for Nate Diaz right now that do not rely on Kevin Holland, who's not even a ranked welterweight right now. Let's go through the list of guys that would be better options for Nate Diaz to fight in MMA or in boxing. Let's go through the list. Number 1, we have Khamzat Chimaev. He'd lose the fight. He would get absolutely destroyed in the fight, but it's still going to make him bank. He's going to make a buttload of cash. Khamzat's going to make a buttload of cash. It'll make some good money. More than a freaking Kevin Holland fight. Number 2, Jorge Masvidal. Do a rematch. The BMF guys. Make some more money. It's another good fight for Nate Diaz. Number 3, we go on a lightweight. You got Conor McGregor. You got a trilogy right there. Would make you a lot of money as well. You got Dustin Poirier. Boom. You got a really good fight there too. Nate Diaz would make a lot of money in that fight. You have Nate Diaz going over to boxing. Fight Conor McGregor in boxing. Fight Jake Paul in boxing. I mean, I just named like 6 different guys that would be better moves for Nate Diaz right now. Even a fight with, Michel Pereira, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, none of these are really good fights for Nate Diaz, but they're still better fights than freaking Kevin Holland. Like, come on, guys. If Nate Diaz is accepting any fights right now in 2022, 2023, it's about money. Nate Diaz is not going to become a champion. He's not going to go up, rise the rankings like Glover Teixeira, become a champion again. That's not on the table for Nate Diaz right now. He's only looking to make a buttload of cash. What is Kevin Holland is not going to headline a pay-per-view. Kevin Holland is not a McGregor. He's not a Jorge Masvidal. He's not a Dustin Poirier. None of those fights are anywhere near where Kevin Holland is at. So again, Kevin Holland, I understand what you're doing, trying to put your names in the headline, but again, 0.0000001% chance this fight happens. It's not gonna happen, guys. I understand you. Again, it's a good call out. Just get your name in the news. It's not gonna happen ever in the UFC or in boxing. But we shall see. Put your thoughts down below for Kevin Holland and Nate Diaz in the comment section down below. Which top 10 featherweight should Movsar Evloev fight next? He asked that to all of his fans on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever the case may be, because Evloev already beat the number 11 Dan Ige in the featherweight division. It is clear that Movsar is probably going to get a top 10 fight next, whether it is Bryce Mitchell, whether it's Arnold Allen, maybe even Shansung Zhang, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, whoever it's going to be, he's going to be a top 10 guy next. Personally, I would say for Movsar Evloev right now, I would say Calvin Kattar is a good test for him. Loser of Yair Brian Ortega is a good test for him. Giga Chikadze would be a good fight, but I don't think the UFC would do that. Bryce Mitchell's a good fight, but again, I don't see the UFC really doing that. So what is a fight that makes sense for Movsar Evloev and that is going to actually help Movsar Evloev wiggle his way through this featherweight division? Because fighting guys, number 9, number 8, number 7, aren't going to really move Movsar too much. They'll move him like 1 or 2 up the featherweight division, but a win for either guy isn't really going to do much. So what fight makes sense for Movsar Evloev right now? Personally, I would have to say, I would have to probably go ahead and say maybe Calvin Kattar. I would say give him a top 5 guy, Calvin Kattar, put it as a main event of a UFC fight night, and do it. It's a good fight. You have one of the best boxers in the featherweight division versus the best wrestler in the featherweight division. Also has some good striking. It'd be a good fight. Any other fight doesn't really make too much sense. Putting Movsar all the way up to Josh Emmett, no, Josh's not going to take the fight. putting up to Holloway, Volkanovski, that's too high up in the rankings. Ortega, Yair. I mean, there's Arnold Allen, there's Bryce Mitchell that deserve the fight a little bit more. They're already up the rankings a little bit higher than he is, so those guys deserve those fights. Number 5 makes sense. Chan Sung Jung can probably go to Bryce Mitchell. Arnold Allen can probably get the loser of Yair Ortega. And Giga can probably get some losing record guy down here. Ilya Taporia, I don't know. He can get some other up-and-coming featherweight. But again, the only guy that really makes sense, in my opinion, for Movsar Evloev, probably going to be Calvin Kattar, in my opinion. Fans pitch Chikadze, Mitchell, Allen, and more. Again, Mitchell is at number 9. Movsar Evloev is at number 10. That fight's not going to do anything for Movsar Evloev. Arnold Allen's at number 7. Do you think Allen's going to take the fight when he has a Yair Brian Ortega fight there that he can take? He can take the loser of Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, maybe even a Josh Emmett fight. I mean, why would Arnold Allen go down in the rankings again? That's not going to happen. So again, none of those two work. Chikadze, you really think Chikadze is going to accept the fight? No, that's not going to happen either. Chikadze might fight, I don't know, Sodiq Yusuf might fight some other good striker. He's not going to go over and fight a wrestler, especially after how he got out-wrestled by a freaking boxer last time against Calvin Kattar. He's not going to take the fight. So all of these fan suggestions for Movsar Evloev make zero sense, guys. Arnold Allen or Bryce Mitchell, I mean, that's what I was originally being like, yeah, maybe those ones could be good fights. Maybe, Korean Zombie could be a good fight. But some of them are a little bit too high up in the rankings, and some of them are just too close. Like, there's really going to be no movement in the featherweight division rankings if he accepted those fights. Loser of Kattar versus Emmett. That's what I'm thinking. This is what I agree with. Figgy's Red Stripe. Loser of Kattar versus Emmett. The loser was Kattar. I think that's the fight to happen. Calvin's at number 5. Movsar's at number 10. Calvin, he already beat Giga Chikadze, but he just lost at number 4. He's not going up in the rankings. He's not going to fight Chan Sung Jung. You know, maybe he'll fight Arnold Allen, but I think Arnold is looking to go a little bit higher. He's not going to fight Giga. He already beat Giga. Bryce Mitchell is not going to go fight Bryce. Bryce is probably looking for the Chan Sung Jung fight. Evloev versus Kattar makes some good sense. That's what I think should happen. But what do you guys think? Chan Sung Jung versus Evloev, Calvin Kattar versus Evloev, Max Holloway versus Evloev. Who do you guys think Evloev should fight next? Put your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, and put your thoughts down below. Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili was turned down by Zhang Weili while Zhang Weili was the UFC Women's Strawweight Champion. Now, this makes sense. I mean, Esparza might be like, oh my god, Zhang Weili's ducking me. Zhang Weili doesn't want the smoke. Zhang Weili knows I would wrestle her. I would take her down. I would destroy her if we ever were to fight. That's not it at all. That is not it at all. The only reason, I mean, I agree. I would have to believe Carla Esparza after saying that Zhang Weili turned down Carla Esparza twice while she was champion. I agree. That's not hard to believe, but it makes sense. I mean, it's not like she's ducking Carla Esparza. The only reason she declined to fight Carla Esparza because how much money is a freaking Carla Esparza going to make you? You have who? Who do you have down here? Jessica Andrade. All right. You got Jessica Andrade, who you fought. You won for the belt. You got Rose Namajunas, who's obviously going to make you more money than a Carla Esparza fight. And that's probably about it. Then you have maybe like Valentina Shevchenko. You got Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez. All of these fights here in the women's strawweight division. And I'm going to say it again. What is a Carla Esparza fight going to really do? It's not going to make you that much money. Like, no one is really like, oh my god, Zhang Weili's the UFC strawweight champion. We need to see Carla Esparza fight for the belt. Now, I mean, while Zhang Weili was champion, I didn't hear that sentiment put out in the world once. Nobody wanted to see Carla Esparza get a title shot. We all were like, yeah, maybe she deserves it. You know, she beat Marina Rodriguez. She beat Yan Xiaonan. I mean, yeah, she's doing pretty good at strawweight. Does she deserve the title shot? Yeah, maybe. Do we really want to see it? Not really. Not really in the slightest. But again, for Carla Esparza to be like, she turned down 2 fights while champion and try to be like, oh my gosh, she's ducking me. I'm not afraid of anyone. Whatever the case may be. If she's trying to talk about this like Zhang Weili is ducking Carla Esparza, that's not the case at all. That is not the case at all. Because first off, Zhang Weili would win that fight. Second off, Rose Namajunas makes a lot more sense, made a lot more sense for Zhang Weili, made her a lot of money, built her name as a little bit of a star in the strawweight division, whereas fighting Carla Esparza would have been a boring 5 rounds of wrestling, a little bit of striking mixed in here. It would have been a boring fight. I mean, I don't really see too many Carla Esparza fights that aren't really exciting to watch. Maybe the Yan Xiaonan was pretty exciting due to all the ground and pound, but Carla Esparza, Zhang Weili didn't want the fight while Zhang Weili was champion, because it's not really that entertaining of a fight. It's not going to build Zhang Weili's name in the sport. It's not going to make Zhang Weili that much money. It's not going to do anything for her. Now, yeah, she wants the fight because you're champion, of course. But again, it's not because Zhang Weili's ducking you. It's because it made no sense while Zhang Weili was champion to fight you. No, Rose Namajunas is right there. That's going to make her a lot more money, and it's a harder fight for Zhang Weili. Now, Zhang Weili wants to fight Carla Esparza because, of course, she's champion. But again, there's no ducking going on here. Carla Esparza, there's no way Zhang Weili is ducking you. You're an easy fight for Zhang Weili. If someone's ducking someone here, it's you. You're talking about having Zhang Weili versus Marina Rodriguez for an interim belt. You're talking about Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili for an interim belt. You're talking about taking a year off, a half of a year off, and waiting for things to happen. You're talking about getting injured and things like that. The only person that is really ducking anyone here is kind of you, Carla Esparza. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Zhang Weili is not ducking you because it's an easy fight for Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili would absolutely freaking wreck you if you were to fight. So what do you guys think happens here in the women's strawweight division? Do you think Zhang Weili is ducking Carla Esparza? I obviously do not. I mean, come on, guys. Carla Esparza, Zhang Weili, there's no way Zhang Weili's ducking her. But what do you guys think? Do you think Zhang Weili and Carla Esparza will happen in 2022, maybe even 2023? And who do you guys think will win? Put your predictions down below in the comment section. Tsarukyan explains why he is the best lightweight in the world, not Islam Makhachev. I don't care who you will put in front of me. I'll smish this whole division, says Islam Makhachev on Twitter. But then we have this fight coming up. Tsarukyan versus Matthews Gamrot. I don't think he is the best lightweight, he says. I know I am the best lightweight. I am the youngest, and my skills is better, my boxing, my striking, suggested Tsarukyan. I didn't have enough experience when I fought him the first time around. I know that for sure. It was my first fight. I know me. I train very hard, and I improve my skills every single day. I'm learning every day. I feel like I'm the best in the division. If I fight with Islam Makhachev again, I will show you who the best lightweight is in the world, added Tsarukyan. After this fight with Matthews Gamrot, if the UFC gives me the opportunity to fight Islam Makhachev, I will sign to fight Islam Makhachev. Now, again, I agree. I don't know if he's necessarily a better fighter than Islam Makhachev right now, but he could be. I mean, you can't really say, oh no, sorry, you already lost to Islam Makhachev. There's no way you can be a better fighter than Islam. That fight was in 2019. That was how long ago? 2019. That was 3 years ago in his UFC debut on short notice when the man was 22 years old in a co-main event. Overeem versus Olenek against a guy that's about to fight for the belt in the UFC right now. And he put on a very close fight. Won 1 rounds on those judges' scorecards. After that, beat Mercier, Davey Ramos, Matt Frivola, Chris Ojago, Joe Alvarez. He's running through this UFC lightweight division, and there's no saying he's not going to do the same against Gamrot. There's no saying that Arman Tsarukyan is not going to go out there, beat Matthews Gamrot, beat Javier Dos Anjos, Benil Dariush, Gaethje, Poirier, Oliveira. I mean, I think he beats most of the guys in the lightweight division. But again, there's no saying he can't go out there and beat Makhachev. The last time they fought was 3 years ago on short notice for Tsarukyan. Islam was nearing the prime of his career. Tsarukyan was 22 years old. So again, you can't really go out there and be read what Tsarukyan is saying, oh, Makhachev's not the best lightweight. I am. You can't be looking at this and be like, no, Islam already beat Tsarukyan, so there's no way Tsarukyan is the better fighter. We have no way of telling. These guys have not faced in 3 years, and the last time they fought was short notice, and the man was 22 years old. So again, Tsarukyan could very well be the better fighter here. Do I personally think he is? Nah. I still think Islam would beat him. I still think Islam would be able to take him down, out-wrestle him, out-grapple him, and keep the striking very even. I think it'd be a very, very close fight. I think the fight would go to a decision yet again. It'd be like a 48-47, very, very close fight. But again, do I think Arman is possibly the better fighter? Yeah. Yeah, the dude has been wrecking people recently. There's a huge chance he can beat Islam Makhachev. The elbows he landed on Joe Alvarez, that left hook he landed on Crisio Zagos, dude, he could easily land that on Islam Makhachev. I'm not saying he will, but he's improved so much since their first fight 3 years ago that I don't know. I'm still going to say Islam probably wins the decision if they ever rematch, but Arman, dude, a year or two from now, can definitely go out there and beat Islam Makhachev. But what do you guys think? Do you think Islam Makhachev is still the better fighter in the lightweight division, or do you think the improvements that Tsarukyan has made have been enough to beat Islam Makhachev in a rematch? And if they do that rematch, and Tsarukyan goes out there and wins, do we get a trilogy? Do we get a trilogy with Tsarukyan and Islam? And who wins that one? I mean, there's so many things that can happen here, but Tsarukyan versus Makhachev, who do you guys think wins that fight? Ciryl Gane eyeing an interim UFC heavyweight title fight with a win over Tuivasa. Now, before I really get into anything, he's not going to get a damn interim title fight. I'll say that right now. He's not going to get it. He probably should. He's the number 1 contender right now, and if he beats the number 3 contender, yeah, he probably should get the interim title shot if it is the case that Francis Ngannou is not going to be fighting for the belt and is injured or whatever the case may be. Yeah, Ciryl Gane should probably get it. He deserves to get it at that point. But will he? Probably not. Probably not. And the only reason I'm going to say he's not going to get that interim title shot is you got Stipe Miocic at number 2. You have Jon Jones out there. The UFC is in the money-making business. Ciryl Gane deserves it, yes. If he goes out there, beats Tuivasa in dominant fashion, and he's the number 1 contender after that win, yeah, he'll deserve the interim title shot. But again, the UFC is in the money-making business. If you have the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic, at number 2, and you have Jon Jones, unranked, former UFC light heavyweight champion, undefeated in his MMA career, the greatest light heavyweight and the greatest heavyweight, there's no way the UFC is passing up an opportunity to make that an interim title shot fight at UFC 279, 280, whatever the case may be. There's no way the UFC is not going to do that. Again, is it fair to Ciryl Gane? No, it's not. I mean, Ciryl Gane saying that he's eyeing an interim title fight after he beats Tuivasa makes sense. He would deserve it if Francis Ngannou is not going to be fighting and, Ciryl Gane wins that fight, secures himself as the number 1 contender, Ciryl Gane would have deserved that title shot for the interim belts. But the UFC is just not going to do it. The UFC is just not going to do it because it is a money-making business. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Of course, at the moment, Francis is the belt. There's also Stipe. There's also Jon Jones. My goal remains to go for the belt, and I hope I win this fight against Tuivasa, and after we progress. I know Gane wants the title shot. I know he wants the interim belt. UFC is not going to do it. They're in the money-making business. They're not going to do it. But what do you guys think? Do you think Ciryl Gane beats Tuivasa at UFC France? And do you think they'll do Stipe versus Jon Jones for the interim title? Maybe even Stipe, Jon Jones for no title. Or maybe Ciryl Gane versus Stipe for the interim title. What do you guys think happens in this heavyweight division? A lot of moving parts, a lot of different things that could happen. But put your thoughts down below in this UFC heavyweight division. That is it for today's MMA news. We had a lot of topics to go over today. We had Merab Dvalishvili potentially moving down to the UFC flyweight division if he beats Jose Aldo and if Aljamain Sterling beats TJ Dillashaw. He's literally saying he will move from bantamweight, his natural weight class, and cut 10 more pounds of weight to flyweight and try to become champion there rather than fight his training partner and friend, Aljamain Sterling. I mean, that is insane for Merab Dvalishvili to say. We have Ciryl Gane trying to get an interim title fight after he beats Tuivasa. We have Tsarukyan saying he is the best lightweight in the world, not Islam Makhachev. We have Movsar Evloev's next fight in the UFC featherweight division, not Not anyone but Calvin Kattar, in my opinion. I think Calvin Kattar is a perfect fight for Movsar Evloev. But what do you guys think? We have Kevin Holland talking about fighting Nate Diaz in this welterweight division. Insane. Insane. We have Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, official for August 6th. I mean, again, Tommy Fury is not a real boxer. I'll keep on saying it. The dude fights bums. So does Jake Paul. That's not really a real boxing fight right there. I'm going to keep on saying it. We have Zhang Weili turning down a title fight with Carla Esparza. Absolutely insane. And that is about all we got for today's MMA news. Insane news today. Insane news. But that's what we got in today's MMA news. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.